Inferno, our next battleground, a map that the Movistar riders are all too familiar with, starting out on the T side of things as they look to immediately shut this series down and book their place in the playoffs of Challenger League Season 41. Same trick as we saw yesterday initially, the HE goes towards the top of Banana, hoping to catch the man at the sandbags, but thus far Wisła have avoided their early advances.
Yeah, I'd imagine they've looked at that game yesterday that Movistar had against Sangal, considering they were so impressive on Inferno, and will have hoped to have learned from it. Early apps control going to be found. It's pretty passive right now from Wisła overall. It's given a lot of freedom to Movistar, which isn't always ideal, and it's restricting info for Wisła. It's forcing them to make a gamble decision about where they want to actually position this stack. And sadly, it seems like they might have made the incorrect decision to bring that third player over towards B. It's only Mopos on Banana. Everyone else focused on taking this mid control. There's still time, so it could go back to B. But for now, this is where the full focus is. Snatchy can't do anything. Caught in that quad, no support nearby either. It's going to be the wrap through Arch in the long run. And Yenker's actually in a decent position to try and help with it, but he falls without anything at all. It's Sobol who gets one. But will it be enough is the question, because B is open. They're going to be stuck in a retake.
Sparrow's got to do it all, and he's losing teammates left, right, and centre. Davy G, low HP, will be caught on the cross, but immediately he's traded away. Alex finds the critical kill, and Goofy at this point, well, the Julies are a magnificent weapon, I stand by that, but this is not where they shine. Long-range fights, less than ideal, trying to just get any kind of connection whatsoever, and for now, dodging all his advances are the Movistar riders. The wrap through B pays dividends, and they have their early T-side pistol in the bag.
I said it was open. Somehow missed Sparrow, but it may as well have been. He didn't get to do anything. It's unfortunate. Maybe I cursed him with my words. Movistar though with the opening pistol. This is what we said would be an issue for Wisła if they couldn't find the early start on their CT side, where they do tend to prosper on Inferno, where they get the majority of their rounds. Then they could be in trouble. You can see they want to press the issue with the Force Spy. A bit of a tag already off the scout from Snatchy. It's not quite what Sunpius was doing on the second round of Nuke, but we'll see what more he's got to dish out, and well, the answer is none. Dets is up close. He's waiting for him.
Needed a little more again from that scout. Tag up 2-3 players, and suddenly these pistols become lethal. Just the one tag down, you know, Alex potentially picks something up like a Mac 10 from one of his teammates, goes in early on the charge, baits out the info, and then, again, this very quickly starts to fall away into nothing. Sobol and Goofy with a couple of Deagles inside of this A site to try and hold on. Early wrap coming in from Deaths on the Mac 10 again, playing for that info. Will go down to Sobol. That's a nice opening pick at the very least, and he's actually a little bit isolated again. That long smoke comes out at the worst possible time for the Movistar riders, and now support lines being ran well. Sobol grabs one on the recovered Mac 10, but he's now isolated inside of that site. The long smoke becomes his own worst enemy. Nice headshot for one, but it's not quite enough again, as into the even 2-on-2 we head. Both players tagged up, however, both one shot for these Deags. And maybe, just maybe, that gives Wisła a little bit of hope. They'll know one of these guys was tagged by the scout early. They'll know that this suddenly has become a very winnable round as Sparrow works his way through these apartments. A big flanking coming, and if Alex isn't very cognizant of this, he could leave himself exposed. Mopos recovers himself an AK-47, repositions inside of the site. They wait out the smokes. They know they've got to be all as one, as a unit, as they head on in. Sparrow misses the first shot, and that's it. That's GG. He needed that kill immediately, because with no kits, the bomb is already too far gone. They'll look for exits. They'll hope maybe to take a couple of these rifles away, but Movistar riders just about surviving that full spy.
Yeah, only just. Fortunately, they had a bit of utility to actually hold off the afterplant, because with the low health there was a bit of freedom for Wisła to actually see in towards the bomb site to get some vision and try and make that retake happen, then they probably would have been in trouble. Instead, it's just a small bit of investment again, some pistols that can maybe do some similar levels of damage and try and at least keep Wisła in a decent position going into that first gun round. But yeah, Movistar hopefully will have learned their lesson. Things need to go a bit cleaner in this round if they want to stabilize their own economy, especially having gone for rifles pretty much across the board, apart from on Alex rather. Oh, Mopos gets naded down pretty hard.
That's the counter. Sparrow and Goofy chew on one as well. It's going to be the fast B play coming in. It's a nice nifty little boost, but it's not going to get anything at all. Jetra will find one through the smoke, charging, looking for more, but again, that second connection that they desperately need just isn't quite forthcoming. Again, if that scout maybe finds a kill, if Jedka driving by on the Deagle grabs a second, then you really start to believe. But with Deaths finding one more, a 2-on-3 situation, it's fantastic damage, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to belittle the achievements of Wisła, but again, it just feels like they're desperately close to unlocking something special. And they just can't quite find the right key. Sumpire steals with the last man. It's a 3-0 start for Movistar Riders. And with 3 players up, they finally start to build just a little bit of bank. Oh, Snatchy. That's a miss buy. Has to be.
I mean, of all the maps to have a P90 on, though, this isn't the worst. One of the better ones for sure. So I'm presuming that you're correct that it is a miss buy, but it's a weapon I think you can make work. We'll see. A nice little double kill, strafing left and right. He'll maybe anger some people, piss them off a bit. Could work for the tilt factor potentially, but definitely not ideal in the first gun round. But up and apps, up close and personal against already a player who's coming in through the apartments, I was going to say could work, but it may not be needed. Sobol kicks things off already with an opening kill. That is the start Wisła needed. Take a bit of pressure off of the lack of weaponry and even get a Galil there for Snatchy. That's how you know it was 100% a mistake, because you don't willingly take a Galil otherwise.
You never willingly take a Galil. Mopod's going to be forced out by the utility as well towards top banana. That's a really nice opening set for Wisła. 2-man bedroom play followed by a retake utility towards top B, and it's flushed Movistar out here on the T side. Early 3-on-5 with a minute still left on the clock. And you can see they look just a little bit lost here. We did say their T side was by far their most fallible yesterday on Inferno, and it's starting to feel that way again. Bomb to be recovered as they look to group and deathball it through. But again, with very limited time, limited utility as well to make this execute, limited firepower. In fact, it's just everything looking a little bit shallow for Movistar. It's going to have to be the play towards A now. They've given up all B control they had previously. Sumpire's hoping to be a little bit cheeky with it inside of the smoke. His teammates in apartments and short respectively giving up a lot of isolated fights. Sumpire's through the smoke, Snatchy ready. Aware of the threat, quick to react to it. And on the back of that, Movistar want nothing more to do with this round. They look at their economy. They look at those shaky opening rounds they had. And they decide a couple of AK-47s is just about the best thing they're going to get out of this round.
Yeah, and that probably is the truth right now. This is good for Wisła to take it as clean as they have here. They'll have to obviously buy back into nades, so they're not really going to build up too much money, but it'll stabilize them. As we said, now they need to start focusing on getting as many CT rounds as they possibly can. And, well, the one that they found there off the back of the damage in the rounds before has actually already limited the buy of Movistar. They're going to go for it for sure, but as you can see, it's not quite perfect. They do manage rifles at least across the board, but it's got its weaknesses, and the economy is not behind it and behind them anymore. So there's a big chance here for Wisła to really get some control going in the early stages. As I think Mobi want to move it a bit quicker right now up mid. Decent timing on the nade. It doesn't do any damage, but the flash to follow it up is perfect. Goofy has free reign on the initial 2 players, and then Sun Pius, who's forced to try and get the trade, is transferred straight onto. It's a 5-on-2, and Movistar barely even seen anyone.
Much, much more like it from Wisła. A little fortunate with the timing, but you take those when you can get them. The setup is perfect. Goofy able to take full advantage as he grabs all 3 kills on offer before falling away. And again, at this point, 2v5. Smoke goes out towards B. Alex will grab 1 for free, and little does he know, this B site is wide open for the taking right now. He's going to waste precious seconds clearing his angles, though, and that will allow for the rotation. Snatchy makes his way in towards CT. That smoke gives away almost that the site is wide open, but it gives Snatchy time. Repositions in towards Paul. Spotted out, dealt with. Now this starts to get awkward. 2-on-5 becomes 2-on-3. Sparrow spotted in towards CT. Alex has got another. Half HP. He's found all 3 kills to crack this site open. Free plant for deaths as well. He can reposition as he fancies. There's no Molotov either to flush this out for Wisła. They set themselves into the crossfire. An absolute classic of Inferno, the new box dark crossfire. It's a nasty one to break open. It's even nastier when you haven't got the Molotovs. Alex and Deaths await. Site retake starts to come through. Sobol and Goofy will start to smell a rat here as they do take almost all of the site for free. Goofy yet to tap the bomb, and that leaves him vulnerable, but they swing too soon. Goofy and Sobol combine brilliantly, and Alex's heroics not quite enough. A second round on the board, just about scraped from Wisła.
looked like it was all but theirs right there. I mean, only a single flash for them on the retake, and they don't even have to use, as you said, just a little bit too early on the peak. They get caught, and well, with the damage already that had been sustained, making their way into the bomb site, they just can't close it out. Keeping it close, I mean, the pressure definitely is staying on Wisła. They're not really letting up on it. Unfortunately, they'll have to a bit in this round, but they've got a couple of pistols. They can get even 2 kills, and I think they'll be happy enough going forward onto their next gun round. On the other hand, Wisła would like to keep everyone alive if possible. The Deagle could maybe pose a threat. Unfortunately, a couple of players peeking Banana is not really going to do Alex any good, and Sparrow's looking pretty solid right now. Yedker taking himself one as well.
2 M4s against 1 Deagle. It's never going to end particularly well for you. Unless you happen to be Device and you're getting a little bit of magic with the Deegan. Not going to happen this time for the Movistar Riders, however. Couple of men down already and just trying to probe in towards mid. Okay, Mopos. Sparrow hung against the top of Banana. And like you said, Wisła have got to be a little bit cautious here. It's been a couple of expensive rounds for them. They've not really built up that economy the way they would have liked. So losing more than 1 player is going to be a little bit too much to bear at the moment for that CT economy. So Movi know it. A tag, but nothing more onto Sobel. You see Jedka retreating deep into the depths of the B site. We'll concede the Banana control. I think he's got rid of the rifle top B at the very least, though. So that's not going to be recoverable. Or is it?
Maybe. I mean, Deaths right now might have a chance to lead the way in with this M4. The rotation that's closest only in towards the arch. So if they can get a quick entry, there might be some hope, but they needed it instantly, as they didn't even have a smoke or anything to cross if they were to even get that initial kill. And obviously they don't even get past the first hurdle of Yedgar, who just mows them down. I like the approach. Yesterday, when we seen Sangal playing Movistar Riders here on Inferno, they never really got going on the CT side. They didn't have a chance to show their presence, to take control around Banana, to fight a bit more actively. So we're seeing a different approach here from Wisła, and hopefully it's one that's going to be a lot more successful, I suppose, than how Sangal were able to challenge yesterday versus Movistar. We get the pause. I like this. We didn't really see Wisła too worried about the pauses when they were struggling in the early stages of Nuke.
It's a nice little response from Wisła, brings things level. After that early spree from the pistol, Movi really haven't found their feet yet on the T side of Inferno. We'll be able to buy fully into this one, though. Some Pius bringing out that T side AWP. It's not the best place for an AWPer in the world, but he's been able to make it work more often than not. And, well, very nearly given the peak. Snatchy pre-firing his way around that corner, just about manages to bail out in time. Movistar take this one slow. A little bit of control towards the bedroom initially, some utility to contest at least the idea of top B. Otherwise, happy just to sit on their laurels for the time being.
Yeah, both teams are happy with a bit of an early stalemate. No real map control being taken either way. Wisła are fairly heavily committed to B as well, similar to what we seen back in, it was the pistol round even, where they made that gamble to stack up B. As unfortunately the push started coming in elsewhere, and again that seems to be the case. The mid control is being taken by Movistar. They put the deep smoke in towards Library, so that would usually indicate the air trap, but they've also now smoked that off, so they just wanted to ensure no one would be able to spot them taking this control. They can keep the options open, and right now they just have Wisła doubting what exactly is going on, and they're not going to really get any info about it for at least a couple more seconds.
This is a really nice call by Movi. They go quickly. That Molotov's going to extinguish sooner rather than later, and it's Snatchy alone on this B site. He's had a torrid time with the AWP. He needs to go big here. Some bias with the last of the smokes, and that's a fantastically timed one from Snatchy as well. They've got to go through it. Flashbang is good. Snatchy misses the first shot. Mopos reacts just about in time, takes him down. That's a plant. And that's a 4-on-5 after plant. The retake desperately needed by the CT side. They're dinking up everybody, but Death's somehow still alive. The smaller magazine of the M4 is what finally undoes Wisła. They have to retreat. The current meta just doesn't afford them a 4-on-5. They don't know how much damage is on the board here. They don't know that Mopos, Deaths, Alex, David G are all tagged up. I'll throw a couple of smokes, allow all 4 of these rifles to exit, hope to maybe get a couple of kills right towards the Death and keep that T-side economy honest. But Movi get away with one again. And again, you have to say it. It's a big miss from Snatchy.
Yeah, that could cost them. Thankfully, they have the op being saved over, so it'll be given right back to them. But again, as we had said, Wisła would be aiming for 10 rounds at least here on their CT side. So if they want that to happen, they need to keep up the pace here a little bit with the round wins. With some hope again for Movistar. They cracked their way back in. We've seen pretty good damage as well throughout the rounds. It's not enough with 4 players there surviving, of course, to do any real damage. But winning this one would leave the fight a little bit weaker in the following round. Bit early on the pop shot right there, you've got to say, for Snatchy, but it's better than potentially over peaking and giving a kill away. At this point, I think they need to take things just a little bit safer. Not to the extent, though, where they have no info of what's going on and are just taking gambles, because that seems to be the case right now with the 3-on-B again.
Feels like they want to set up for that retake. They found success with it previously, but Mopos just isn't biting. Sat behind the half wall. Not in a position where their utility would really do anything to him. And again, you're right, with this 3-man stack over towards B, it feels like that A site desperately vulnerable. Sobble and Goofy both grouped towards short, means they've got a complete lack of information out long, but this time they have managed to make that retake stick. They've managed to take that top banana control away without any real resistance. The smokes go in to counter it. And Movi have a decision to make. You can see they hear that smoke up top banana. They hear it extinguishing the molly. They know the info is now there for the CT side. But they want to stick it out onto A anyway. They trust their call here. And the timing is going to be absolutely everything. Sparrow flashed off his first angle of choice. Catches Alex with a nade in hand, but can't quite convert. Surely go for a spray through the smoke here. Should find a free connection. The pit, mini pit setup isn't going to deny site control. It looks for it after the fact, and that's a big opener for Sobble. Von will go down in amongst the chaos, but there's nowhere really for Movistar Riders to hide. They're getting gunned down from that pit, mini pit setup. David G finally good for 1, but it's 11 HP between these 2 remaining T-side players. Sobble looking the wrong way, may well be a freebie, and that will make it a little more competitive. But again, there's desperately low health on both of these guys. They can't find an AWP to recover. There's nothing to really make them believe in this one. It's going to take an absolute miracle. That pit player needs to get it all done. He finds another David G with another headshot, and somehow 11 HP is making it happen. Snatchy finds 1, but that bomb is so far gone. It's so far ticked. 11 HP is all they need. The Movistar Riders have 5, and that is another round that Wisła just cannot afford to be losing.
How the hell? What, did they have less than 50 health between them? It seemed like they were screwed after they had to initially just bypass that crossfire in towards the pit. It picked them apart, even with the bomb going down. They're both then trapped in around the bomb site initially. They charge the pit players and win that out, and you think, okay, sure, that's a little bit, but surely they can't actually hold this off, but they do. What a round for Wisła to lose as well. And now if they're not able to pull it back here with their full investment being pretty much everything that they had built up, then they're going to be in trouble. It'll be Movistar just really running away with his T-side on Inferno, as we may have initially expected.
This is starting to feel very rough indeed. It's Mag 7 on the half wall. The MM strats are coming out now for Wisła. Mopos is toying with death here. Seems to be aware of the possibility, and oh, Sparrow tries to go for the jump shot. Mopos wise to all the tricks. Another big opening found as well. It's that top banana control conceded. Jedka has to start calling the rotations away, and it's a heavy-handed rotate as well. Goofy works his way around. Snatchy joining him on the speedway, and once again, it doesn't look like the right call. They've got the utility for this retake. They've got the utility to get back into top banana, to get the info and gamble the rotation, but they're not throwing it. And with every second that passes, Sobble gets a little more vulnerable in towards Boiler, and he gets his head caved in. He had the drop on them. He dinks up deaths, but that just doesn't matter when Movistar are on form like this. There's nothing you can do. It's the 3-man save again for Wisła. The CT side economy once again becomes their worst enemy. It's a 6th round in the bag. And Movistar Riders just don't seem to be able to do any wrong at the moment, Dean. This is getting ridiculous.
It's just all coming together. I mean, no one's even needing to really stand out. Sun Pius hasn't gotten going on the op, even though he's had it a few times here as well, just because they seem to be able to have whoever is in position find an opening and quickly lock Wisła out of the rounds, or else in the case of that previous round, pull off a ridiculous clutch based on the teamwork. As well, yeah, The save obviously coming in from Wisła. At least they'll have some weapons in this next round, but it's not going to be enough for them to, I believe, fully buy around it. I don't think they can drop weapons, so I'll have to see exactly what they decide to actually go for. Yeah, I mean, technically Snatchy could drop an M4 over if they really want to go for it. Maybe one of them gets an SMG of some kind as well, because it is a bit desperate at this point. They do need to start winning out some more rounds. I could justify it for sure, but I also could justify just trying to do something with what they have here and then still having a good enough buy in the next round as well.
They've painted themselves into a corner is the issue. You're right. They're at that critical point where Movistar Riders' economy is starting to get too big. Starting to get too impossible to break, and it means they have to try something. Gone for the half buy around the 3 saved rifles into this one. 1 M4. Couple of M4s rather. 1 AWP, a Deagle, and a P250. Jedka trying to take the early fight. Does win it out, but again, the trade is immediate, and that's a rifle gone. Sparrow, with his own smoke, knows he needs to go on a recovery mission, and that's exactly what he's looking for. The flash is good, but they pass like ships in the night. And Sparrow might have a timing here as well. He's cleared top B. Nobody is going to be looking for this whatsoever, surely. David G should go down with the plant. There it is. Spray down, not able to connect on the transfer. Death steals with the flank down mid as well, but with 1 minute and 5 left on the clock, this starts to get very messy now. Death knows he's got to be careful. He's got to be cautious. Snatchy finds one. Death gets away with murder, but it's Sobel's P250 that then chimes in, and no, Wisła, surely not. They're looking to steal away the impossible round. The 3 rifles, not even the ones that get most of the heavy lifting done. It's the recovered bits and pieces that instead find so much purchase as Death's 17 HP in the 1v2. There's nothing he can do. Wisła find their round, and a critical one at that.
Out of nowhere also, I mean, the initial trades looked good enough for Movistar. It wasn't really positions where the weapons could be recovered or anything, but the pistols are still able to find success. And yeah, off the back of the saved weapons, Wisła managed to get themselves a lifeline. They could still pull it up to 9 rounds on the CT side, which would not be bad. Ideally, they would have wanted a little bit more, but if you get 9, you get a pistol round then on the second half, you suddenly have a massive lead to yourself either way. So let's see if they can manage it. It's quite a road ahead of them, though, if they want to make that comeback here on their CT side really work. Snatchy on the op, secondary op on Sparrow as well. It's something you know that this team has in the back pocket, but not necessarily something you'd be expecting here on Inferno.
Big call as well. You have to say, financially, it puts them in such an odd position. After finding success with those kind of half-buy scenarios, normally your economy is blossoming. This time, only Sobel and Sparrow with any real money left in the bank. This double-up setup has to work. And one of them is very isolated, deep into CT, over on that B site, as bracket control is taken. And we've seen this call a few times from the Movistar Riders. They take the early control, they back away, they retake towards B, and that looks to be the call, at least initially, again here. The bomb's still lurking in mid, but it's a 2-man top banana tape between Mopos and Sunpius. And if Sparrow goes down again, that B bomb site is ripe for the taking. Deep smoke goes in. Mopos looking to swing wide behind it, but Sparrow is wise to the threat, and that's going to push them away from B. That orb ringing out starts to convince them that the A site's a better option when in fact the 4-man stack is here. Wisła have called it correctly. Snatchy, trained on long, should have an absolute field day here. Flash round the corner, hits the shot. Flash not quite in the right spot to connect onto him, and now 3 on 5. Wisła, they got them trapped. Barreling up short is David G, but little does he know there's a player still waiting inside of the site, and while Sunpius gets one, Death gets another. It's still Goofy with 7 seconds left inside of the site to shut it all down, and that's the 5th round. Much, much better from Wisła.
Yeah, and that's actually broken down Movistar a little bit quicker than I thought they would be able to. I mean, a few pistols at most probably come out here. Alex could maybe go for a hero rifle if they want to go crazy with it, just knowing that the economy of the CT still isn't great, especially with that double up setup in play. If they take 1 or 2 of them away, that instantly takes a massive chunk out of it. But it seems like they're happy with a few Deagles, P250, and the hope of maybe taking things a bit quicker and catching a couple players out of position. I wonder if they've copped onto the fact that Wisła play these 3 players towards B in the majority of rounds. Definitely something they could exploit with a quicker A play.
This time, with just the pistols, they can't really do anything about it. Grouped in towards bottom mid, just hoping for an over-aggression, really, in these opening moments. Somebody to peek wide, give the Deagles the one tap they crave. Nothing to be found just yet, though. With a minute and 10 left on the clock, they are going to start to group towards Banana. Sparrow and Jedka on this angle. Orpa hits the first, backs away. Davidji will find one, though, and now that leaves the Orp again just a little isolated over towards B. Without the CT smoke, they can't really afford to accelerate all that quickly into it, however, so Sparrow will be allowed to relocate. Doesn't expect the boost up, so Mopos gets one more before he's traded down, and as much as it's only 2 kills, it's still good damage for the T side, as Davidji, last alive, will be dealt with. A couple of kills is really all you can ask for from these half-buys, so it's not a bad result for Movi, even as Wisła level things out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a position, though, for Movi where I think if they grind out just one more round, they're okay. That's a good enough half for them to work with and heading onto their defensive side. Especially since that's where we've seen them get a lot of their success the last day as well. Wisła are beginning to find their footing again. We already know that Movistar have a bit of an on and an off switch, that Wisła can't find that point. We've seen it for a while back on Nuke. Looks like, again, things are being taken quite slowly by Movistar. They're actually still grouped on ramp. They want to go in for that late banana control once the nades begin to fade away. Waiting out the smoke for now, and they're actually going to move up as there's still 3 players in position as well, so they're likely going to find the fight off the back of this. Yeah, as you said, the HE on 3 does tons of damage. Mopos is now down to 7. They wanted, I believe, to actually go in and try and fight for the banana control, but as the counter molly comes in, they decide, yeah, we probably shouldn't. And we know that that's for the best because they've done some good damage. They've made Movistar riders use a lot of their nades in order to just get this banana control. And if they're to move in towards this stack right now, then they're probably going to find some trouble. So they may want to even consider slowing it down and perhaps trying to get some control elsewhere.
They've really got nothing else to work with, though, is the problem. And again, with 50 seconds left, they can't really afford to double back. It's going to be the B hit. Stack be damned. They're going to give it a go. Double smoke towards Coffins. A little bit of a missed call there. CT will be locked out. Goofy on the boost, looking for the initial frag here. And with Mopos on low HP, it shouldn't be too tough to find. He swings wide. Nice flash, but full blind. He still finds one. There's the early trade. And the second man, Jedka, tries to go through the smoke. Gets caught off guard by Alex. And that opens things up now. 3-on-4 after plant. Again, Wisła with a decision to make. All really hinges on Sparrow. If he can get an early kill here, if he can start to really crowbar this one open, they'll want to give it a go. They're going to flash him in to see if there's anything for free, but nobody is giving it up just yet. Sampaius with a lovely little timing swings wide, and at this point, Sobel and Snatchy, they don't want any more to do with it. Tiptoeing away, trying to be as sneaky as they can to make sure those 2 rifles stay in their hands. It's going to be a 7th round on the board for Movistar Riders. And like you said, Dean, this is all it feels like they really needed. Run boost for Alex to get him out for free. And, well, all 4 players managed to escape the site off the back of it.
A bit of an upgrade even off the Galil, so they don't really lose much, as the main weapons are going to be carried over. And yeah, as I was saying, as you mentioned there, it only really needed to be 1 round that Movistar cracked through to make it a good T side. And if they take a second now off the back of it, they might even confirm the 9-6 scoreline for themselves, which was beginning to look like it was out of reach. It seemed like Wisła were really finding their footing, but this is a bit of a desperate one now. No longer a double op setup in play either. Not going to be going for the 3-man banana control this time, though. Just a couple of nades being tossed in. They don't really look to challenge it quite as much, and instead, Snatchy wants to fight down mid, and he doesn't even find an opposing upper. Instead, it's Dets that's waiting for him, and I think he tagged him up through either the corner of the wall or it was a leg shot. One or the other, either way. A bit unfortunate, but the head being found by Dets very, very quickly. And now they can slow it down. They still have 1:20. They have the room to move in for banana control, and only 1 player on B if they do move quickly.
When it rains, it pours. That really hurt. You felt that one in your soul. Snatchy hits the shot, but it's not quite the full kill. Death takes full advantage with the frag, and now fast pop into that B site. Like you said, Sparrow completely alone, spamming away. Has to concede the site itself. He's being charged at through construction. Meanwhile, Movistar Riders not content with just the site, just the man advantage. They want to keep stacking it up, and again, Inferno really is a love-hate relationship, isn't it? It makes the best final maps in series every time, but my goodness, there is a lot of CT saving. As Wisła once more, they look at the finances, they look at the loan, they look at their credit rating, and they decide that they really can't justify this. They need that orb, they need those 2 M4s, and they need that belt of utility if they are to make a stand in the last round of this first half. So they will concede 8. A guaranteed lead at the half for Movistar Riders on the T side of Inferno, no less. It doesn't make pretty reading if you're a fan of the Polish roster.
So it leaves you very, very worried, I'd imagine. Again, the T side is not normally where they get most of their work done. Noticing the fact that the logs there were invisible on Banana from this perspective. Looked weird because there was a player on top of them, so it just seemed like he was floating. Yeah. 2 rounds up for Movistar. Maybe 3. Depends. They've still got a full buy to go against here thanks to the saved weaponry. And again, what we're seeing individually from Movistar is not what we were really expecting. Sunpius has been a lot quieter. Normally expected on a map like Inferno, but after dropping a 30 bomb yesterday and like 25.5, we thought he probably would make quick work with that up again as he did before. Instead, it's been Dets who's looked good. Alex has had his moments as well. You're just seeing a real team effort as the spam there doesn't really do much damage. It's 1 damage to Goofy. Blood splattered all over the wall, sure, but just abstract art at that point.
Make an NFT of it. Make yourself some money. Movistar Riders not short on the cash, so they won't be too fussed about it.
I don't understand
8-6 up. Nobody does. That's the trick. It's like all art. Nobody really understands what's going on. And well, Wisła wish they could understand what's going on this CT side of Inferno, because it is rapidly falling apart for them. Bracket control. The Molotov there to try and stop it, but it's a charge from the Movistar Riders. Snatchy forced all the way back to the Archers. Sobble and Goofy again put under pressure inside of the site itself. The rat play has been called, and Snatchy has just walked right on by it. The deep smoke, he's going to reset. He is aware of the possibility. That scope up has been heard by Alex as well. Sparrow looking to clear CT in the meanwhile. It's going to be a massive timing here for Alex, and he gets the freebie, knows exactly where Snatchy is lurking. It's a rough fight, but it works out brilliantly for Alex. And again, the A site is under siege. Sobble and Goofy make it. Just Goofy as Sobble cleaned out a house. Goofy doing all he can, but it's a jumping Davy G who deals with him. And this time, well, it doesn't matter what your financial report says. You've got to give this round a go. And Jedka barreling into the library, staring down the barrel of a 1v3 to prevent this from being a 9-6 T-side for Movi. He's cut out. He's locked out. There's nades flying in. The Molotov at least should flush out one. The HE to follow up will take Davy G down low, but it's not the kill that he desperately needed. He charges in. Sunpius spotted. Missed shot from the AWP opens up a little more room, but Jedka, again, not being given any kind of fight. It's a 1-for-1 trade. 9-6 at the half as Movi look to get this done in style. You don't want to say it, but Wisła very much find themselves on a cliff edge here. 9-6 down, headed onto the T side of Inferno. On the map pick of the Movistar Riders, they need some magic, and well, a lovely little dink onto some Pies to open things up. Could be just what the doctor ordered. Down to 56 as he takes the initial contact in towards second mid, and does get a decent idea of the play, although Movistar are not budging on this stack just yet. That shouldn't have been possible, and yet somehow they managed to stitch it together. Snatchy knows he's got to get that bomb down. Sharpish does so, but the nade to follow up is good. 5 HP, hits the headshot, much needed. Low health, knows he's got to try and get away with something. He's lost his teammate in amongst the chaos. Snatchy looking for one more. He's looking for the hero clutch. Alex, out of ammo, is going to try and charge him down, but Snatchy backs away. Not planted for him, but it's the full 10-second. As Snatchy starts to work his way up, Alex looking for the stick, but it's a long old time to be holding on, and Snatchy will swing wide for it. The miracle round is found. A triple kill despite his 5 HP for Snatchy, and Wisła are working their way back into the series.
was muted there, unfortunately. Let's pretend that never happened. But yeah, good work by Snatchy to make that recovery in the end. And that's what they need. They need these players to step up in the clutch situations to win out these close rounds, because that's what, in the long run, unfortunately, cost them Nuke. The fact that they weren't able to get some of those earlier 1v1s, 2v2s, and such that they could have played out in their favor. But a force play from Movistar obviously doesn't look all that great here on the CT side. Some pistols, a few nades. They're fully in. If this doesn't go their way, it's an eco and we're tied at 9-9. And suddenly Wisła have a pretty good shot at sending this on towards the third map. And considering this is a map where we expect them to be massively outmatched, if they can manage to steal it away here, then I've got to say their chances on Mirage would be pretty solid.
Certainly got half a chance at the very least. HEs can still do work though, and Sparrow is starting to be tagged down slowly but surely. Pistols into the stack, a couple of CZs, not the most common weapon to be seen anymore. The 5.7 really working its way into the meta of late, but there's still a ton of utility here. As they start to plan out this execute on the T side, the counter flashes, the counter nades are good, the smoke keeps them busy for a few moments, and here they come. Through the charge comes the MAC-10, Mopos caught, trying to extinguish the molly. Alex, it's a 1-for-1, but he's isolated now as well, trying to drop all his utility, trying to buy any kind of time. He's got his knife out to try and deal with Sobel. And as much as he brings Snatchy down low, it's not going to be enough to tempt them into the hit. Deaths and Davigi back away. The CT side economy comes to haunt them once again. And you're right, Dean. This is going to be an 8th round on the board for Wisła, likely a 9th off the back of this, and an opportunity to start stabilizing and dreaming the dream of Mirage.
Yeah, I don't think they'll hunt. Oh, I didn't think they'd hunt down these two pistols, but Sparrow was already on his way out there, so he decides to go for it despite being low health. So there's a MAC-10, carry that over, try and at least maybe get a couple of kills with that. He can give his P250 to a teammate in this next round as well, and perhaps they can at least do something on what is going to be just an eco otherwise. Wisła up to 8, as we mentioned. 9 should come off the back of it. The question is, how clean can they take this next round as well? Because you don't want to be in a position very similar to what we've seen for them there in that first half, where they get a pretty decent start, but then after the guns come back into the hands of Movistar, they just get broken down. They do need to ensure that they avoid it. We're pretty much neck and neck, and I was not expecting that out of Inferno.
Keeping it competitive. The 5.7 will be dropped, so MAC-10 makes its money. Nice little upgrade for Sunpius to get his hands on a pistol. Wasn't expecting that in this round as he looks to save for the AWP. With a handful of utility, there's a few opportunities just to, again, chip away at this T-side economy for Movistar. Hot flash into the top banana take. Jedka full blinded. That's a lovely little start. Mopos is now isolated, and the Zeus not going to pay its way. Jedka, meanwhile, grabs one in the flames, and that leaves Alex on the default pistol, alone out towards this B site. They know that he's isolated. They're trying to charge their man down, but Alex finds another. And just like I said, this is starting to get a little expensive for the T side now. A couple of players down. They've got to get that bomb plant swiftly. Want to make sure they don't give too much more away to a P250 and a MAC-10, but with a HE and a smoke available, there certainly is room for them to get back into this, and you can see Wisła are aware of the possibility. They don't want to commit to the cross just yet. They're trying to get these CT players flushed out before they really give anything a go. Refresh of the CT smoke will now allow that bomb to finally make its transfer. And it should mean that this round starts to fall away. It's a nice little nade onto Goofy. The boost up's good as well, though. And now Goofy tagged up by that HE. They know where he is. He just about stays alive. And Death's pistol won't quite find the kill it desperately wanted. That was far closer than it ever should have been, Dean.
Yeah, I think Movistar are actually happy with that. Down to 2 surviving. It was 3, I believe, in the round before as well. They weren't getting too many SMG kills or anything, so the money isn't amazing. So their reinvestment costs them pretty much everything. If Movistar can get this first gun round in eco, perhaps then out of a couple players, they'd probably force it considering they have a bit of money on a couple of them, but it'd definitely be the opportunity for Movistar to quickly brush off the fact that this game was tied up and try and get a bit of a lead going once again. As it's a quick play up banana from Jedka. He takes a ton of nade damage. The molly goes in as well now to stop him from falling back potentially. I think he may have just beat it out. Yeah, they have a smoke to put down either way, so they'll keep their banana control for now, or at least they'll likely be able to get it back once that smoke fades away if they want to. But I think they're happy to give it up. That might indicate, of course, that they want to focus on towards A, which could be the correct decision considering it's a bit of a B stack right now being put in place. But no, they're getting ready again to move back in banana. They also want to make a bit of noise potentially around mid. Just keep the pressure on in general.
Yeah, just not allow for any hurried rotation from the CT side. Keep them busy, keep them second guessing. Exactly what they're looking for as some Pius posted on Boiler. He's going to be put under pressure here. They're backing out of that banana control, starting to work their way through brackets. Set smokes go out towards long, allowing the wrap in towards this A site if they want it. So Bias is toying with going back into that angle, though he wants to stay posted. He knows he's a big part of the success if it's going to come in this round. The flashbang is good, though. Forced back off his angle, tagged up into it, and they are going to charge up short off the back of it. Davigi, with some Pius on the crossfire, has got to be ready for war at this point as everyone is queuing up. They're waiting. They need the smoke. They know they have to isolate, but it's still not enough. Davigi gets 2, and that's bombed down in no man's land on 20 seconds left. They can't afford for that bomb to be dropped on the hay bales. Goofy, desperately looking for the recovery, has at least got Sparrow to bail him out for 1, but there's 10 seconds left. He's on his own. He's 1v3 inside of the site, and he's not being given anything. Some Pius on low HP will go down. Death's dinked as well, but it's still not going to be enough. Movistar Riders withstand the hit, and it's Davigi with the magic from balcony that gets it done.
Yeah, not normally the man you need to look towards for the frags, but again, it's been one of those days where it seems like they're all capable of stepping up. They don't really have that, I guess, extra push that we seen from them yesterday, which is what let them take maps convincingly. This seems more like the old school Movistars where they're more so all about that grind. They'll grind out the wins rather than making it convincing. They can keep you on the edge of your seat for sure, especially if you're a fan, I'd imagine. No shots intended. It's not allowed to be biased.
Against the rules. Wisła take the banana control again. Given up this time by Movistar Riders, knowing they've got a util advantage. They'll wait, they'll flash in late, and Jedka full blinded by it. A lovely opening set for the CT side, knowing that economy is going to be on the ropes, knowing the utility is going to be lacking. Catch a lovely little timing to open things up. And now again, Wisła have just got to rethink. They wanted that banana control. They wanted something to keep Movistar Riders busy. That's not been found. Yet to make the rotation, though, as they go for a boost in towards CT instead. And again, trusting this two-man hold out towards A. Some Pius on the AWP. Davigi once more on that 4A1S. And they're going to be put under pressure here. Goofy's late. He actually just holds, and the bomb actually doubles back with it, hoping to draw a hurried rotation. Instead, Alex pushes on through, lines them up, and knocks them over. Both the kills top B. That's bomb down. And it's another disaster, you have to say, for Wisła. Sobel with a cheeky angle, at least catch 1, but there's 20 seconds left. The CT side know they saw bomb up towards the top of Banana. They know that's got to be recovered. And Sparrow, well, he's ran out of time at this point. I don't know if he's even got the time on the clock to make it back. It's going to be mighty close. Some Pius isn't posted on this, but they're saving. I was about to say they just haven't got the time to commit. I didn't think he had time to make it all the way back. And, well, Movistar Riders, a little bit of magic again. This time it's Alex delivering the double spray down with the 4A1S to mirror that of Davigi in the previous. And the clock is the ultimate enemy of Wisła as that lead for the CT side starts to stretch.
Yeah, they seem to have been jump-started once again. Had definitely flicked that on switch a bit over to off for a little while, as we've been seeing from them over these last couple of days. Surprising how dominant they were during some of those games at Pro League as well. Maybe playing down to their opponents a little bit. Some teams can be like that. Sun Pius didn't want to rattle off a shot there without confirmation that he'd land it. Was expecting someone maybe to be up close and waiting for him on the peak, but no, it wasn't the bait and switch for now. It's just pretty passive from Wisła overall. They're waiting to move in for this banana control. Give a boost over to see if anyone's peeking, but Movistar taking things kind of slow in this round. That's one thing that they're always really good at, being versatile on how they approach these rounds so that it's never predictable.
They like to mix it up, and they've gone for it again here. Death Ball working its way up Banana for Wisła, but there will be presence to meet it. 3 players, in fact, well placed over towards this B site. Smoke goes in. Have to imagine they'll look to disrespect it, though, with what they've got. Those 2 AKs needing to do a hell of a lot of heavy lifting. Timing's going to be everything here, because Deaths is posted in towards CT. There's smokes available to deny that. But he's got one of his own to, again, just stall out this hit before it really gets started. And there it goes with 40 seconds left. The re-smoke comes in. Mothboss still with a molly in towards Dark to cut even more time off this clock. And as they look to group, This is starting to get a little desperate for Wisła. They've seen nothing. They've been given nothing. Pius has found the solo pick over towards A. That molly actually gets caught in the smoke, and that's going to allow them to start pushing in now. The pot flash is good. Mopos takes full advantage for one, but they've got to get that bomb into the site now. And you can tell Wisła are starting to scramble a little bit because that bomb is still stuck. 13 seconds. It's top banana. There's nothing it can do. It's caught on the transfer. And what looked like it could have turned slightly sketchy with that extinguished Molotov very quickly stabilizes for Movi. It's a 12-9 scoreline, and the money still isn't great. There's big decisions to be made for Wisła because Sobel and Sparrow can't really buy.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they're going to go for it because of that. Everyone else just buys what they can to match the money down alongside the rest of their teammates, and that means it should be 13-9 for Movistar before we really get going again. But yeah, good work from Movistar. They're doing a good job at just utilizing their nades at the right times, falling back into strong crossfires, and just playing off of each other as you'd expect from a team that's been together for as long as they have. Obviously, they had their changes, but this roster now is beginning to really stabilize, find its footing, as you said, since Pro League, where they proved, I guess, that they had what it took to fight against some of those top teams. AVG might not want to stick around too much longer here. Up close against those Tech 9s in the apartments is exactly what Wisła are hoping for. So he does choose the right time to fall back off, take things a bit more passively. Grave is going to be a strong position if they come piling out of the apps as well. So it's going to be tough for Wisła, but with only 2 players here, there's definitely hope. As you said, the timing not bad as well, but AVG, without even vision, manages to spray down 2.
And that's a big double kill to find. It allows for the support lines to be ran. Deaths gets 1. Sparrow and Jedka just looking for damage at this point. AVG not going to get caught off by that little half angle top of the smoke twice in a row. Retreats in towards the depths of sight. And yeah, with 40 seconds left, the pit mini pit set up. Lots of damage done onto Jedka. A HE in would finish it. Pius picks him off instead. And, well, Sparrow stuck in that mini pit. They're going to disrespect it. Lovely stuff from Movi. 13, just 3 rounds away now from a flawless 2-0, booking their spot in the playoffs. And that's what we expected, if we were honest, from Movi. Coming off the back of their successes at Pro League, they wanted to get this done clean, and they're just 3 rounds away from doing so.
Yeah, to be fair, though, they had, what a 14-6, 15-7 at one point, I think it was, on Nuke. So it's not like it's impossible for them to go quiet for a while. We've already seen glimpses of it here on Inferno as well, but the nades destroy Snatchy. Trying something different, I can admire that. We haven't really seen that double nade stack either from Wisła, so they decide, okay, cool, let's get Snatchy up, see if we can catch the time and get someone on the corner before they toss down their smoke or molly as they've been doing before. And instead, it's the 2 nades that land right at his feet. The perfect time for the change-up approach from Movistar, and now they can just chill. They don't really need to push the issue anymore.
And that's exactly what Movi love to do on this CT side. Just chill away, sit on their angles, wait for the fights to come to them. With the man advantage as well, Pius hosts himself on the angle. Does leave him a little vulnerable to the boiler, but he gets the pick regardless. Sparrow goes down. It looked like Sobel was well placed to swing and refrag, but just can't find anything at all. There's no brakes on this train for the Movistar riders, and Wisła are finding that out the hard way, as now, with that bracket control lost, you can see Pius retaking it just as I speak of it on the minimap. It's got to be B, and it's got to be right into the jaws of this stack, which again, with 35 seconds left on the clock, still has utility to burn. Mopos with a smoke to counter this molly as it comes over from Goofy. Waits for it to be extinguished and then looks to pop flash himself out. A 3-man stack here ready and waiting to deal with the push. Death through the smoke finds 1. And now Alex swings. Mopos there with him. He doesn't even need him. Flawless again from the Movistar riders for 14. And this is just going from bad to worse. Wisła looking down the barrel of a half buy, and at that point with 6 series points, they're going to have one last chance, one last roll of the dice on the rifles.
That was a bit of deja vu there as well on that B push. There's not an inch being given to them at all by Movistar. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see them take up the pace. The previous round, we had a half buy like this. They kept things pretty slow until the later moments of the round. But the problem is the nades have just been placed so well consistently by Movistar that they can't really go for anything in the initial few seconds without risking a ton of damage or potentially death, as Snatchy found out in that previous round. But yeah, a few nades being tossed out early on. Movistar know that they're not up against the full buy, or at least they should be aware of the fact that it's very likely not. Look at him at the nades he has. I love it. Was that 3 nades? He had his own one and then 2 more dropped from his teammates.
Why not? Mopos is playing with fire here, you have to say. Up close and personal versus Tech9s around the edge of a smoke. It's not the best place in the world to find yourself, but he gets away with it regardless. Tiniest of gaps in the corner allows him to find the kill onto Sparrow, retreats off the back of it. The flash from his teammate is good, blinds up everyone else who was looking to chase, and he wants to go back. He wants more, and he's going to get multiple bodies here, or is he? Sobble playing the anti-flash, does find one. That's a rifle picked up with 45 seconds left, and maybe, just maybe, half a chance to get into this B site. Alex, for now, is isolated. He's got support in the form of Death, starting to rotate, but he is the only player with vision on the site itself. Not that it matters when they line up like that. 2 before he's taken away. Snatchy through the smoke finds another, and that makes it interesting. Goofy up close deals with the AWP, and out of nowhere, they've got themselves a 2-on-1. The half buy looks to pull off the impossible as David G is thrown into the clutch. He isolates the AWP nicely with the smoke. He knows Snatchy is lurking somewhere, but rather than pistols, it's an M4 and an AWP that face him. No smoke for the coffins as he's deployed it towards CT. It means Goofy's got free reign, and it's the miracle round for Wisła. The pistols get it done and keep their hopes of Mirage alive.
From the 2-on-4 as well, what a way to snatch hope from what looked to be certain defeat. Gotta say, a little bit awkward. The op up close on the smoke, already scoped. It's never ideal if someone pushes you down. But yeah, I mean, it's something they can potentially brush off since they do still have enough for another buy, even on top of the one that they've just brought out right now. So definitely for Wisła, they're not out of trouble quite yet. 1 to 2 more rounds before they put a dent in the economy and break Movistar onto an eco, and that's perhaps when you start to see things really beginning to come down to the wire. It likely would even tie us up at 14-14. But again, the default for the T side, it looks like the focus this time shifted a bit more towards the A bomb site. And I was going to say it was the initial 3-man B stack over towards B, obviously. Didn't need to say it at that point. But they have shifted Deaths back around and have at least confirmed, I was going to say, the presence in towards the apartments. But Davy G was still in towards Boiler. Tries to peek off the back of the op shot, hoping the attention would have been taken away. But sadly, he loses his head. And now it's an advantage for Wisła with a minute still on the clock, so they don't have to press the issue. They could go, maybe make a bit of noise around Banana. They could try and pull rotations from Movistar. And I think that might be the plan, especially as a ton of utility comes in from the CTs to slow them down.
No messing around. Bomb comes out bracket. They don't want your tricksy plays. They just want kills, and Snatchy provides Sparrow with one more, and it's Deaths alone inside of the site. He's got one, but he's surrounded. Nothing he can really do or say to stop that one. Snatchy, the man credited with the kill, but it's a team effort from Wisła. And well, have we still got a series on our hands here, Dean? 1 round, one little bit of magic on the Tech9s. And that gap starts to narrow. 3 rounds in it. David G, Sunpius, and Deaths all struggling financially, you have to say. This save starts to look a little bit essential for Mopos if they want to be buying into the next. And could it be that Movistar are starting to find that snooze button again? Because if they are, it's an awful time for it to happen.
Yeah, this isn't when you wanted to go missing. Yeah, it looked like they were being held off for a moment when all the mollies went down. The rotations had come in from Movistar. They had 3 players ready around the A bomb site, so it seemed like things were maybe still going to play into their hands despite the disadvantage. But yeah, Wisła didn't really care. They just waited out the bit of utility and just charged in and make it look convincing. 3 rounds in the difference. As I mentioned, lose this one right now. Movistar suddenly then on an eco, and off the back of that, it's at least a 13 for Wisła, and the 1 more gun round then could send them towards map point, and we could still maybe be looking at a 3-map series, which looked impossible.
Still there, lurking in the back of their minds. Movi will be thinking about that game on Nuke as well, how that got away from them. Desperate not to let that happen again. Sunpius boosted on the half wall, but the flashbang is good. Wisła forces retreat. Counter utility not really going to catch anyone at all as Jedka just taking strides up Banana. Molotov goes deep, HE to follow, making absolutely sure that AWP is not on the angle. With 1 minute and 15 left, this time Movi starting to struggle for map control themselves. They wanted to contest Banana initially. The counter util was good. They're going to go for it again here, and they will at least be able to get the man-posted sandbags. That should allow for them to steal a rotation, but they're not confident in the call just yet. They want Alex there. He's got some more nades, some more utility that they want to get expended down Banana. Sunpius just spamming away, hoping for any kind of a connection, but nothing being found. With 50 seconds left, this starts again to look awkward for Movi. They haven't got the info. They don't know what's going on. And you can see that that's starting to trouble them a little bit. Molotov goes in B. It's got to be the A hit. And for now, at least, Movi have got the majority of their forces available to them over there.
Yeah, a bit of a crossfire around mid with the boost up there for deaths. It's a change for sure in the approach. And with the smoke and balcony here with only 20 seconds left, Wisła need to get a move on. Davey up close. If he can even get one, maybe 2 kills or a bit of damage on top of the one, then it would, I was going to say, give enough room for deaths to get it done from short. But yeah, he mows them down. Had taken Goofy low on top of the initial 2 kills. And suddenly Snatchy's left all alone. This is going to be 15 for Movistar. They confirm map and series point, and well, they leave Wisła now backs against the wall. The op at least saved, confirms they have everything they need, but still, what they need right now is a bit of a miracle to get these 4 rounds in a row to then win out the overtime and then to go on towards Mirage, where they're going to need to pull off another pretty difficult win as well, because it's not a bad map for Movistar. It's the one we were looking at as probably the more equal of all 3 maps we've seen throughout the series so far.
Oh, that's rough. They just start to believe, just start to get themselves going. And then they run the clock desperately low. The utility timings, as always, are excellent from Movistar. It shuts them out and buys the Spanish roster 4 series points. Snatchy, though, not happy with that, not content. Through the smoke, will find the early opening. And some Pius caught napping on the angle as well. They'll accelerate off the back of that. Bracket control to be taken. This is not a done series just yet, and Movistar would do well to remember it. Snatchy roaming on that AWP, looking for a moment of magic. He has got some Pius up against him on this angle. Shadow surely seen as well, but he's not going to overextend. He's not going to push his luck just yet. Sits on the corner, lies in wait. Now he goes wide. He's seen the shoulder, spotted out, but it baits some Pius back in for more, and that's just when Snatchy strikes. Perfectly timed, perfectly executed. They line up for Alex, and he sprays down 3. He's not done fighting either. He'll finally be put to bed, and it's Mopoz into the 1v2. Bomb will go down, and a big decision to make here. He's tagged up already, down to 42 HP. Snatchy on that AWP, a lovely Molotov timing. Chips away at him with the HE as well, and Mopoz, well, he's got to try and isolate these fights. He's got to smoke. He's got a couple of flashbangs to work with, but nobody's giving him anything. Snatchy posted in the pit, finds his head removed, and Sobel is left in the 1v1. Mopoz knows where to look, but he's struggling for health, and that may eventually be his undoing, but he's got the spray down. Mopoz finds the 1v2, and that is it. Series goes the way of the Movistar Riders. They will be our first team in the play.